Hi, my name is Steve Reagan with CSO Online. I am at the RSA conference here in California. I am joined by Sam Curry with Cybereason, and we're going to talk about nation-state actors. So, here recently, you guys just put out a report about China up to no good here in the US. Give me some background on that report.
Well, the first thing is that when we say China, we actually mean many different agents, right? And agencies. And I think the biggest thing in the report is that we're seeing the privatization of a lot of what's going on. So the great irony, of course, is that an ostensibly communist country is seeing the benefits of privatization. So you take hackers who've done government work before and maybe worked on the public sector side, they're going out to the private sector for a bunch of reasons.
So you actually had a really great line. We need to mention it. We can't let this go.
Okay.
It was like being the firefighter and the arsonist at the same time?
Yeah, to some degree there's some plausible deniability, right? That, and maybe Boyusek is the best example of that. It's that they are selling ostensible pen testing tools and hacking tools and services, but behind the scenes they're still actually the ones doing the hacking and doing the malfeasance, right? If you found your fireman out back lighting a fire, you might get a little bit upset, and that's effectively what we're seeing.
So, when it comes to the types of attacks you're noticing, what are some of the things you're seeing right now?
I think the first that we just mentioned, organizational changes are quite significant. Most of our attention, of course, day to day is spent on how the techniques are changing, what the tactics are. I would say broadly, perhaps three categories. One is we're seeing them try to throw off some of the threat intelligence. If you get enough disinformation out there, you both create strange patterns that the good guys respond to poorly, but more importantly, you throw off machine learning, right? And how people are looking at it at a broad scale. The second is we're seeing them go down the stack. We're seeing them go into the firmware. And third and finally, nobody uses malware anymore, right? It's not just hackneyed, it's the exception when they use it. Instead, what they're doing is they're trying to use fileless malware exploits, fileless techniques, injection wherever possible, and use the actual tools that are in situ rather than bringing your own or something that could be found by more traditional techniques for defense.
When it comes to detecting and trying to remediate attacks that are like this, what are the options organizations have? Well,
I think we have to rethink this. I think the tradition is, there's some threat intel, of course, but we're looking at it machine by machine. We're taking a sliver of every machine and saying, let's go look for malware on some malware, known bad signature or signatureless basis. But instead, we have to start looking at the behavior. We're not actually, as an industry, trying to stop malware. What we're trying to do is we're trying to stop bad people, organized bad people who have QA labs and have the means to stop this stuff. So the best thing we can do is to start lifting our gaze up and looking at behaviors. Ultimately, IT departments exist so that you can have good people with the right machines on the right networks interact with data. And the bad guys are going to find ways to look like that. So we need to start taking behavioral approaches more and more. Whether it's endpoint behavior, user behavior, network behavior, I really don't care. We have to start saying it's not about the greatest mousetrap. It's how we're looking across the enterprise or across many companies and saying, all right, what can we tell in the aggregate about human behavior?
Excellent. Thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Again, my name is Steve Reagan with CSO Online. We'll be out here all week, so stay tuned for more videos.